We on?
Yes, so be careful what you say.
Good
Well, good
morning.
morning. Here he is again.
Welcome
Always
to
here.
yeah.
I got a
Welcome
bad penny turning up.
yeah. Welcome Teddy's people, along with myself and Mr. Keith here. How are we?
Not very well. My team got stuffed 4-0
I
yesterday.
know. I saw that. What a
Yeah.
shame. Still Fulham play today, so I'm gonna keep me powder dry just in case.
Right. Now, can I comment on your fantasy league because you showed me how to play it?
Yeah.
I've started. I managed to get my goalkeeper, and today I shall get the rest of the team. But it is not difficult, is it?
No, it's not. No, it's very very easy.
And do
Again,
play it, you might get into the cup final.
well, who knows? It's these. Go to the if you haven't entered, go to the Sun newspaper, hit their fantasy football, and pick your team. All the list of players comes up on screen, and you just click the players. You can have 4-5-1, 3-5-2, 4-4-2. There's about 6 or 7 different formations there. You just click which formation you want. If you go for 3-5-2, then it's 3 defenders, 5 midfielders, 2 forwards. You pick your team. As long as you don't go over £50 million, then once your team's selected, under £50 million, click it, put a team name in, then click your captain and vice captain so you get extra points when the game goes on, and then your vice captain and captain get extra points every game. And then you go to my league, which is the Lewis Beyond League, and you click on enter league, and then you put in the league pin SG2CHY, and you'll be automatically, your team will go straight in to the Lewis Beyond League. So and for the winners of the league there will be a small trophy, so it's well worth doing, and being the inaugural league I thought it'd be nice to have a little trophy ready, engraved to the winner at the end of the season.
I'm going to choose 10-1.
Sorry?
I'm going to use 10-1. Based on Villa's performance yesterday, they need 10 defenders.
You need 10 goalkeepers,
Well,
need 10
perhaps you're right. Perhaps we should have one, one
I know.
10.
Well, mind you, there was some shocks in the Premier League this weekend. Man U losing 2-0 to the
Hull,
playoff Hull. Then Tottenham lost. All this newly assembled side by their new manager got beat 3-0 by Brentford.
And actually, the team against Man City lost 3-0.
Bournemouth.
They did, yeah,
They lost 2-1 yesterday. Bournemouth lost against Man City.
So some of the smaller clubs are doing quite well.
They are definitely. As I say, so it was a really competitive weekend, a really good weekend actually, for the smaller clubs. It's amazing that you've got Tottenham have spent literally zillions for De Zerbi to bring in all these new players, and they still look as pathetic as they did all last season.
Yeah, that's
which,
right.
Which they were very, very lucky to stay up last year, because I really was hoping West Ham would stay up at the expense of Tottenham, but you can't have everything, you know. So
don't you find, Teddy, because you're much more of an expert on football than I am, but don't you find that a team of stars can sometimes be awful because they all can't stop doing their own thing, whereas a team moulded by a really good manager of almost nobodies can become very, very powerful.
Oh, of course, exactly. Yeah, I mean, the one game that went to form, I thought, the weekend was Everton beating Palace 2-0. Again, Palace look like they're in trouble this season, I think. They could be my dark horse to go down. And of course, Coventry lost their opening game against the champions Arsenal on Friday evening 3-0, which, to be fair, they didn't deserve a point because I thought they might sneak a point actually at.
They didn't play too badly, actually.
No,
And as I recall, it was quite late in the game before they started to concede those goals.
well, no, they Arsenal scored in about the 4th minute and the 20th minute, and then they scored the third goal right just after half time. So Coventry's still got work to do. So
Yeah.
you know, in fact, Coventry came up as champions, but if you have a bad start in the Premiership as a newly promoted side, because then they could be struggling. As Hull came up in the playoffs, they beat Man United, and then Ipswich won 2-1 at home as well on their return.
Yeah, who are Ipswich playing?
Tell you over in a second. Here we go.
I watched a bit of that game.
Yeah, Ipswich were playing Sunderland.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And Sunderland could be second syndrome for Sunderland, of course. They may well struggle this season with Europe as well, and with the European competition. It's likelihood, because West Ham struggled a few years ago under Moyes when they got European football because their squad wasn't big enough for European football
all
and
the games,
Premiership. So teams get involved in the cups, and a lot of the teams lose their focus on the bread and butter, which is the Premier League.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, this can all go completely bonkers with a wrong set of results, as it don't take long in the Premier League to get into trouble.
No, that's right. That's right.
And of course, as I alluded to earlier, Fulham play tonight, first game under Arabola, against his long-time Spanish friend Alonso of Chelsea. So, again,
And Chelsea have spent a fortune, haven't they?
yeah, I'm not even going to try and make a prediction for tonight. Only to say I'll be having a £3 bet on Fulham winning in the betting shop. But that's the closest I will get, and that's a free bet, so it won't be costing me any money.
Telly, I was watching the other day, and I thought I was going to ask Telly about this. Is it really now a question of is the more money you've got, the better chance you stand? Because if I had a team with several million and I could buy who I want, I mean, in defence of Aston Villa, they've been plucked dry. European champions, they've been plucked dry. At least 6 of their decent players have been bought by teams with deep pockets.
Well, of course, yeah, this is what...
Now, that's not good for footballers for me.
Well, no, but unfortunately the haves and the have-nots are very, very relevant in the Premiership.
Yeah.
But, as I said, Tottenham spent literally on a brand new team, and they still look as poor as they did last season.
Yeah.
And, even under Ange Postecoglou, the season before, where they won the European Cup they were playing for, the lower league cups, the Old Fairs Cup, and in his second season, Postecoglou, and he still got sacked at the end of the season because of the poor Premier League form. So Tottenham actually, up to this season, the last 2-3 years, their league form hasn't been good.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can change, you can buy all the players you want, but you buy a new team, the first thing they got to do is gel in a competitive environment, which the Premiership is.
Yeah.
And the Premiership is unforgiving. It really is.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, Alonso at Chelsea bought half a dozen new players. It's typical Chelsea. I mean, there is a team that has got all the money, literally, in the world, and how they get round the financial fair play rules, to me, is the only way they do it is they buy another hotel so they get more income coming in, and then they put their players on really long contracts, so that's split. So like they pay 100 million for a player, they put him on a 10-year contract, so that's 100 million is split over the 10 years, so that brings down your financial outlay.
Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah.
And of course, you buy a hotel a year like they do, and more peripheries on
Yeah.
on Stamford Bridge. You know,
You know the way the Americans do it with American football, don't you?
it's,
Which we couldn't do here. Nearly all the players come out of universities, and they have this branding, if you like, at the beginning of the season. So who was the best player? Who was the second best player? And so on, and they rate them. And the bottom team in the league from the last season gets first choice. That's why somebody like O.J. Simpson, for instance, came out of university with a sterling record and went to the Buffalo Bills. And they were only two seasons old. But they got the star player. They then raised him up. What it means is, you don't, year after year after year, you don't get the same team winning the league.
yeah.
We couldn't introduce anything like that, I don't think. But it's not a bad system, because at least the fans have no idea who's going to win.
Well, Fulham's owner, Shahid Khan, he's about the 8th or 9th richest man in the world, and he also owns the Jacksonville Jaguars, the American
Right.
football team over there. And even he said the amount of spending on players is completely different to what it is
Yeah.
in the American game. But he said he just has to work with it. He just has to, as a joint owner of a Premier League team, and as Fulham are, we are Premier League. We are Premier League.
You've also got to play to the crowd, haven't you?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the fans are very influential in this country.
Oh, they are, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, sitting in the stands, you can sit next to somebody who's very vocal, and obviously knows diddly squat about the game.
Well, that's it. And
But equally as influential as the bloke down
well, yeah.
sitting below him who knows everything about the game.
Yeah, but you can know everything about the game of football, but what the average fan like myself doesn't generally get to see is how the players bond behind the scenes.
Yeah.
The team tactics from the managers and coaches, and that's not just at Premier League level, but right the way. I was watching Fulham under 18s and under 19s over the weekend.
Yeah.
And again, you can tell even the youth teams are drilled at Fulham as they are. We were 2-0 down at our time on Friday night to Burnley, and we ended up beating them 4-3. And you could see how the coaching worked in the second half. But as fans, really, we really haven't got a clue.
Clue, no.
You know,
I was thinking about that the other day, Teddy, because I know how entrepreneurial you are. I thought, you know, if Teddy and I went and collected all sorts of pop bottles and got the money back on the bottle, we could buy a very low team and build it over 5 years to win the championship.
yeah. Take a lot of fucking pop bottles, I know that much. And if only we could get deposits back on them. I suppose we could sell them as recycling. Because that's what they do actually in Berlin, you know. Last time me and my mate Dave were in Berlin at nights on the tubes down there, that they've got these guys that walk round collecting glass bottles.
Ah.
And I was chatting to one of them, because a young lad, he spoke very good English actually, probably better than me and Dave, but that's another story. And they said, yeah, we collect these bottles in all tube stations, and they go back to a bottling plant, and then they get melted down and recycled. And
they pay them for the bottles.
And they pay for the recycle.
That's that's not bad for young people.
Exactly. Now you see, there's a travel tip for anyone going to Berlin.
Yeah.
Fantastic city, by the way.
Fantastic city. Yeah. Do you know something? Berlin is one of those cities that I've been to on and off, and I actually went there before the wall came down. Stood on the platform that they built, looked at the hump that's Hitler's bunker, looked across to East Germany, went into East Germany and saw the crossing. What was it called?
Checkpoint Charlie.
Checkpoint Charlie.
Checkpoint Charlie.
And when you see it, it's just the way it is in the movies and so on.
Yeah.
But the thing that really struck me was, we spent the day in East Germany. We had to have a guide. We weren't allowed to go on our own. And when we came back, the guy was a very nice guy. And he said, I get off your bus now as you go across the border. I can't go any further. And that's when it struck home. Here was a whole nation. You could only look at the West.
Yeah, well, I'd say Dave and I, we went over to Berlin must have been 17 or 18 times, because we love Berlin for the Christmas market.
It's a fabulous city now, yeah.
Yeah, the Turkish Quarter in Berlin, absolutely fantastic. And we were there actually 2002, seems like yesterday, and it was the European Championships, and we were using a restaurant, and we were playing, I think it was Holland or somebody, quarter-finals, and despite having no TV, they bought a TV set down, a big bugger actually back then, 36-inch, and they said, you two stay all evening, and they set this TV up for me, Dave and I, and we had just a brilliant night.
Nice, yeah.
Superb meal, and of course a constant supply of beer, which was always nice.
Wonderful.
A steiner of beer, and yeah, my mate Dave got pissed and nearly pissed his trousers on the way back to the hotel. Shouldn't be saying this on breakfast. But there you go. I mean, sort of like,
yeah.
So,
Well, do you know that the first time I went to Berlin, I think it was about 1980, and I was sitting next to a guy when we were flying over the bad zone, you know, the red zone, to get to Berlin. And next to me, chatting, was a BOAC pilot. And he said, you know, quite often, he said, when we fly into East Berlin, and the airport there, Templeton or something like that, he said, well, you should look out. Well, we see a MiG flying parallel. And then he said, like that, and we looked out, here's a MiG on our wing.
Yeah. And amazing, because like I mean, Dave and I, we love going. It just, any weekend spare. He said, you're working, you DJing? So I said, no. He said, right, well, I booked us a couple of tickets. So I said, what do I owe you? And paid up, and like, it was brilliant, I'll be honest. And that and my other favourite European city's Amsterdam.
Oh, that's a wonderful city.
Where I spent a month, now probably 5 weeks in total watching Sussex cricket, because at the time at Netherlands was in the one day 50 over competition, and yeah, it's good again. And also went over to Ireland as well, watching Sussex. So yeah, again, that was in the noughties, which was a great time actually. It really was. And also in the noughties went to New York and spent 3 trips in New York. So all my travelling was done in the noughties. It really was. But I was at an age when I really appreciated the travel.
Oh yeah, they were wonderful times.
Yeah, yeah. Now, coming back to the television, what we're doing, Lewis and Beyond TV. Got a couple of guests in over the next week. On Wednesday, for the Wednesday debate, which is hosted by myself and my lovely assistant Claire. We're back to the Wednesday debate about the state of our high streets. And now this week, after my constant nagging, I actually have a Lib Dem town councillor coming on. He asked me to give him a list of questions, which I've given him in advance. He's confirmed that's okay. And he's going to be on my show Wednesday morning.
Oh, good.
So, and of course, next week, next Monday is a bank holiday, but we will be here because also I have a guest coming on next Monday from Andrew from Tapping. They are a therapeutic, they do a lot for dementia patients and stuff. He also reads poetry, so he's going to read some poetry on Teddy's People next Monday as well. And near at home, of course, Claire, who I've been chatting to, is she's a trained counsellor, so she's going to be doing an agony aunt spot.
Oh, excellent.
So that's all to come on Lewis and Beyond, which, as I said last week, will be transferring over from Mirador South to Lewis and Beyond television over the next couple of months. So that's really just up to date on.
Right.
And of course, Keith will be carrying on. He'll be here on a Tuesday with the Tech Saint V.
Yeah.
Also, he'll be having the barristers on a Thursday. So we'll still be seeing plenty of my mentor and friend, Keith.
Well, can I just tell you, Kerry?
Yeah.
Your experience reminded me of how local politics gets away with either saying nothing or not opening their doors or not letting us know. So I decided, hang on, this is not right. So I've opened talks, exploratory talks, with an international organisation, I won't name it at the moment, that is dedicated to stopping governments at any level in any country denying the press what traditionally are their rights. And it's fascinating what the people here in East Sussex, and I really think they're probably in West Sussex and in Hampshire and in what's the other one up the road?
Sorry?
Well, Surrey probably is as bad. They're all behaving illegally.
Oh, right.
And so I'm opening up talks because, as you know, as an international journalist, we very pompously go abroad and say to young journalists, you know, well, this is how you do it in a democratic community and so on and so forth, and then come back to find that we're not doing it at all. What we're doing is we are propagating stuff to create an image. And to be quite honest with you, the results of whatever happens, I'm going to send to Burnham. And I'm going to say, you seem to be ready to pick up the gauntlet about a number of things. How about this? Press freedom, which is disappearing rapidly in this country. So, this is Mirador World, the sister station to Teddy's.
Oh, the big sister.
Yeah, and we're going to have a go at battering some of these people. And you know who passed the last legislation that opens up stuff to the media? And the legislation is still on the books, but nobody pays any attention to it. It's Margaret Thatcher.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Maggie, she was, in growing up with her, she was in many ways a people's champion of openness.
Absolutely.
She was, you know, but it's
There we are. We're on the job. The two of us are on the job in different directions.
We are. He's starting from the top. I'm starting from the local level.
There you go.
So it's so between us, Lewis and Beyond TV and Mirador World are starting from opposite ends of the scale, and we're home to meet in the middle somewhere.
Absolutely. Okay, can I tell you, I'm waiting until Trump has ended his tenure as president, and the next one gets an invitation to come to Lewis.
Yeah. Now, going on to some local news now. Big news, actually, what's happening in and around Lewis and all the districts around, like New Haven. Is massive amount of money's gone into New Haven. There's been a new fishing. For local fishermen to come in with their catches is a brand new on the West Quay down there.
Oh, that's marvelous.
Brand new infrastructure allowing the fishermen, when they come back into port, they can pull into a brand new facility to help unload their fish, and also battery services for cutting it and getting rid of all the stuff they get rid of. And also,
that's wonderful. I didn't know that too.
Yeah, well, no,
Terrific.
this has all gone on because there's a massive about 50 million has gone in to and around the New Haven area.
Right.
You know, all around, like the whole town centre, which was a graveyard for so many years, is slowly being reopened, and it's accumulating with a 22.5 million health hub, combining Quayside Health, and there we go, Quayside, and the other surgery, which was, sorry, hold on a second, medical, oh yeah, the Quayside Medical Practice and New Haven Medical Centre, formerly the Chapel Street Surgery.
Oh, I know it. I've never been in there, but I've seen it.
The old Co-op department store right in the high street has been converted, and they've been working on this. They started working on this when I was living in New Haven, which is 3 years ago. This coming February. So it's slowly coming together, costing £22.5 million, and they're putting them as a joint medical centre. So, and that's going to open a lot more of medical services available to the local people in and around New Haven, which is fantastic for New Haven. It really is. It's the Wellbeing Square, represents a major investment in primary and community care, local health and local wellbeing, and forms a central part of the council's wider regeneration of the town by locating services in one accessible, purpose-built facility. The hub will support more joined up integrated care and help residents in New Haven and the surrounding areas lead healthier lifestyles. So that's going to be fantastic when it. So that is opening early September,
Oh, that's excellent.
which is next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So anyone that goes in there, if they could send us an email, lewisbeyond@gmail.com, then let us know what it's like. Shane Porter, the practice manager at New Haven Medical Practice, said, "We're delighted to be part of the Wellbeing Square, which marks an exciting new chapter for primary care in our community in New Haven." So that is brilliant. Duncan Kerr, the chief exec of Wave Active, which are the gym people that are also opening up in the building. The new facilities mean we can work much more closely with local GPs, health partners to deliver joined up support for our communities locally. So, you know what, fantastic what's being done there, really. The project has been delivered with funding from the UK government and the Lewis District Council, you know.
That's excellent.
And that's what's happening if you're living in New Haven, fantastic. Exciting times ahead, I predict. And of course, when you bear in mind as well that all the South Coast is being swallowed up now as one unitary authority by Brighton Hove. From Brighton Hove right the way down through Telscombe, through Peacehaven, and again, that's taking towns' identities away from them.
Yes, exactly.
Don't you think?
Yes.
That's
I'm actually against the concept of bigger is better. That may be true at the top, where the argument is the bigger you are. I mean, for instance, in health, for instance, you can buy a lung machine because you're big,
yeah.
but you can't if you're a local surgery. But there's no reason why they couldn't split the two and have a unitary authority facility for all the smaller surgeries around about. No, they've got to swallow them up. You watch. Complaints about the service will start to pile in. And not just this service, every service. Because a unitary authority cannot manage things like that.
Lewis District Council leaders have said the decision does not reflect the views expressively by local communities during consultation,
Yeah,
and
no, it doesn't.
question the evidence and used to support the change. Residents consistently have raised concerns about having a local losing their local identity, which is what I've just said. So having less influence over decision making and seeing services shaped around the needs of a larger city rather than local towns and villages.
Yeah, that's right.
Which are very, very important to
That's
people. Right. I mean, I know it was mooted that they tried to get Lewis involved, but Lewis, being Lewis, is far too...
Well, Lewis District Council is going to disappear.
Yeah.
But you know, the town council, which has become nothing more than a parish council at the moment, goes back to Alfred the Great.
Yeah.
And perhaps what will happen is more responsibility will fall upon the town council, and Lewis can retain its identity.
Well, yeah, Lewis is, I think. Lewis isn't involved in the whole restructuring. So, right, so that is one good thing, that Lewis, we are keeping our identity.
Yeah.
And so it should be as well. So it should be. So, yeah, so basically, East Sussex should exceed 3.5 million, creating additional pressures at a time when public finances remain under strain. And of course, who pays for public finances? Council taxpayers. because budgets from down budgets down from the all the governments is down again. So it carries more responsibility on council taxpayers' shoulders to make good everything that being withheld from governments, really.
Yeah.
You know?
Mind you, Teddy, local governments, and particularly the County Council for East Sussex, need reform. They're a broken organisation at the moment. I mean, they chase Tupper Tapeney and ignore 55 million.
Well, yeah, I know, but the trouble is that, you know, Brighton will be saying this will stop when you become part of a larger unitary authority.
Yeah, if that's what they say, our job as journalists is to hold them to that.
Yeah. And now,
every time they step out of line, we will tell you.
Anyway, moving on, a huge boost for outdoor facilities across the Lewes district. Young people, families and sports players are enjoying a range of new and improved outdoor facilities across Lewes district. The skate park in Malin Recreation Ground has been extended with the introduction of a new mini ramp built by Canvas Spaces. Local skaters help shape the design through online workshops and a public vote. The ramp gives new users a space to build confidence before progressing to the steeper ramps already on the site. And to keep this activity going, a water fountain will be installed in the skate park later on this year. In addition, a new shared use all-weather park devised by my mates and Cycle Lewes has been built across Malin Recreation Ground, improving access between the Riverside Path, Wiley's Bridge and routes towards Ringmer. So therefore it should be a lot safer for cyclists going across to Ringmer. Tennis players will also benefit from investment with newly refurbished tarmac tennis court, which are free to use, open all year round, and feature a high quality free draining service. New nets and fencing will also include 2 grass courts available for public use from April to September. So if you fancy yourself as the upcoming Wimbledon champion of the future, children will be able to use that. Also in Centenary Park in Peacehaven has gained a new dynamic new pump track designed and built on track for BMX riders, scooter users and skateboards and of all abilities. The project was funded again by the Lewes District Council, is owned and managed by Peacehaven Town Council. Residents continue to develop in the plans at well-attended events when it was mooted originally. So these are more facilities for Lewes, Peacehaven, also Telscombe. There's stuff going on in Telscombe which is too soon to say what's going on, and Newhaven. So probably the last stat does Lewes District Council will ever do.
Yeah.
You know, which is a shame, but there you go. I mean,
at least Lewes Council got their fingers out as they aim towards dissolution, because they're a useless bunch of chits in the meantime. But you know, one of the things I wanted to say to you, Teddy, was I was speaking to Venus the other day, Venus Williams, and I said, you know, Teddy is thinking of coming back onto the course. Oh, he's a very welcome addition, she said.
Yeah, really. Yeah, I can't wait. Cosmic, that cosmic, it really is. And of course, from September, for its 33rd year, is Creativity. that makes Lewis District such a vibrant place to live and visit. From the 5th to the 20th of September, visitors can explore 176 free exhibitions of painting and meet the artists and makers of places where they create. Venues range from private homes and studios to historic churches, gardens, farms, industrial buildings, continuing to Artwave's commitment to widen participation to hundreds of young people will hopefully give them the inspiration to start painting and being creative in their own right. You know,
Well,
which is fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I think just opening up some of these historic buildings to young people and making them aware of their role over the centuries is in itself a marvellous objective, you know.
It is. And actually, it's extending its reach across the channel with a new focus on the New Haven Dieppe ferry route. Both ships operating on the route will feature, here we go, Artwave installations encouraging travellers to visit festivals, not only the other side of the channel in Dieppe, but on the boats itself, on the ferries itself, which is, you know, that's fantastic, especially if local artists can get their artwork on to the ferries.
Yeah.
I think that's brilliant.
And if in fact it raises awareness of places like Dieppe and New Haven, because what happens is people from France want to get to Britain, drive onto the ferry, bypass Dieppe, drive off the ferry and bypass New Haven. And going the other way, they bypass New Haven and then they bypass Dieppe.
Yeah.
Now Dieppe has handled it much better than New Haven, although I'm delighted to hear the plans that you just outlined.
Well, New Haven seriously, I think New Haven is going to be a really good town centre again
it sounds
within the
very
next 10
encouraging,
years.
yeah.
With the hub being, and then you've got going to have the gym actually in the same building, and you've got swimming round the corner. It's going to be fantastic, I reckon, you know. And there you go, new landing stage supports New Haven Fishing Fleet, as I was saying earlier, on the West Quay. It's brilliant, and of course the council is also celebrating a significant milestone with all 4 of its most senior leadership roles held by women for the first time in Lewis District Council's 52-year-old history. Now that's brilliant. Councillor Charlotte Keenan was elected as chair and councillor, Nikki Farby as vice chair. These appointments alongside Councillor Zoe Nicholson as leader and councillor. Also Christine Robinson as deputy leader of the council. So what you started here in your past career of getting women involved in that part of the world, over the year it set the precedent. It set the precedent, which someone's always got to set a precedent to actually get, you know, to get.
Well, all I did was I showed that it was possible in a male-dominated society to have an organisation, a very influential organisation, run by basically women.
Exactly. And lastly, a new phase of the successful Community of Kindness programme is being developed on a project that's already engaged thousands of young people and spreads powerful messages of unity, respect and inclusion across the whole Lewis District. The council is now exploring the opportunities with a range of different organisations as it looks to expand out the initiative. So Community of Kindness was commissioned by Lewis District Council and delivered by the New Haven based arts organisation Look Again. The first phase saw primary and secondary school pupils from Seaford, Newhaven, Peacehaven and Telscombe. All those districts now are going to be in the Brighton umbrella. So that just showed that Lewes District Council have been active in the community towards, which for me is the most important thing in everything, is getting young people engaged. You need to engage young people so they're ready to take over from the older generation, like ourselves.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, a cynical old journalist like me wishes that they would put some money into an independent organisation that looks to see who's got their hands in the till.
Yeah, but that...
I mean, all this sounds wonderful, Teddy, but what that is that's an propaganda outlet from the council, isn't it?
Well, you know, I still think it's positive.
If it's all going to happen.
But on my glass, yours is half empty, but mine is always half full. Because I'm positive. That's the thing. I mean, so I personally think that there's something else. There's strength in protections for private renters, of which I was for about 25 years. So that's a good thing as well.
Yes, indeed it is.
You know, it is. I mean...
You are also for the same length of time and got very shabbily treated.
Yeah, I was lucky. I always did all right, to be honest with you.
Well, I was for 24 of those years, but...
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, most of my private renting days were good days, actually.
Yeah.
In fact, I sometimes miss them. I really do.
Well, I do too, but I'll tell you something, be careful. Because lockdown was devastating for me. Don't always assume that where you are at the moment is going to be where you're going to be in 2 years or 3 years or 4 years.
Oh, no.
Be prepared to relate or react.
Oh, yeah, go back to living on my boat, yeah. That's not bad. Anyway, so there we go. So, yeah, people urged to eat, drink and shop local was the other thing I did see.
Urged to what?
Now, the new Lewes Food and Drink Directory has been launched online, listing businesses that make, service and sell local produce. It sits along Sussex-wide directory featuring more than 700 businesses on an interactive map. Is the website. It's sussexfoodanddrink.org. Local food and drink businesses are encouraged to add their details to the directory free of charge. Something that's free. Blimey.
Wow.
And there we go. Businesses that stock and champion more local produce help to strengthen all local communities, which is very true, actually.
Well, talking about your glass being half full, I know that it's often very full because of the pubs in Lewes. But we really are fortunate because we've got 16 pubs and there's not one that I would be timid about going into. Okay? There are some that are very good as opposed to good. But we are very lucky, Teddy, with the range of pubs we've got.
Definitely. Yeah. And that really does wrap up Teddy's People for this morning. So, thank you very much, Mr. Keith.
Thank you. Can I just mention one thing that I've decided to look at on Mirador World is robotics. Because I don't know whether you saw on the news this weekend, the Chinese had developed robots, and they held their own track and field events with the robots, and they got them playing tennis, and they got them playing mini football, and it's absolutely fascinating. And I had no idea that we'd got to this stage. So I started to look into what robotics are doing, because I think one of the things that bothers me a little bit is we all say, ooh, ah, when we see a rocket taking off into space. And after that, we all lose interest.
I thought it was a dance. Ooh,
ah. You come here often.
You're not my type.
But robotics and space are two sectors that are badly neglected and we do need to understand is that why has Jodrell Bank had its funding cut? Is it something the government knows, or they're too satisfied with what they're finding out? I have no idea whatsoever. None.
No, that came up. I was reading that about a month ago, actually.
Yeah.
And again, well, you know what? It's a case
Well,
of.
you've got a whole host of little green men helping you. For
Yeah,
God's sake.
it's a case of Big Brother telling you, you know, you want you knowing too much. And as for the robotics, it's Skynet all over again. Talking to little green men. So thank you all. I hope you enjoyed it. And
Right you are. Toodle pip.
I'll see you Wednesday.
You had 50 minutes worth.